to today's video. Today we're back with the skill top 10 champions in the game of July, or now it's August 2024. As I said in the previous videos, which if you haven't seen, check them out on the channel already, we've done Tech, Mutant and Cosmic. I do have a little problem at the minute with the Mutant video. It's just lost its sound on my laptop. The sound is there. It's on the file. As soon as I upload it to YouTube, the sound isn't working. So that is currently a bit of an issue. But we'll come back to that. We'll try and fix that. And then hopefully that video will be up on the channel. So like I said, today we're into the skill. As with the rest of the videos, these are just my opinion. I have looked around. I've watched people's videos, you know, Vega's videos, Legacy's videos. All the big sort of creators' videos to get sort of a better idea of who the top 10 are. There still may be some mistakes in here. There still may be some champions that you really love. If you're a big Hitmonkey lover, unfortunately he doesn't make the top 10. He is just an honourable mention. But unfortunately that is the way I've ranked it. Again, no hate. Just let me know in the comments what your list would be. We've had some great discussions on the previous videos, and I'd love to jump in, discuss that with you guys in the comments. So do let me know down below in the comments what your top 10 would be. So let's jump in. A lot of these champions are 7 stars. Obviously 7 stars are just that little bit more powerful than the 6 stars. If they're a 7 star, they usually are a lot higher on this list. How rid of those notifications. So we're back. As I was saying, 7 stars tend to be more powerful and are used more in the game, but the top 3 are 6-star exclusives at the moment, so that sort of gives you an insight into who those may be. But I do feel like one or two of them could be falling quite a lot given some of the new skill champions we've seen. So let's jump into the list, discuss it as we go. At 7, I have Kilmonger. I think Kilmonger currently is one of the best defenders in the game in Battlegrounds. The reverberation and indestructible he gets is very useful for when you're using him as an attacker, you're questing. He does some the true strike and the nice bleeds. The unstoppable and the SP1s can be very annoying if you hit into the block, so that makes him sort of extra strong on defense. I think I really like the character sort of in the movies, so he always has that little bit of bias for me. I do think he is a great champ, though. I used him a lot as a 6-star and a 5-star very heavily. The champion hasn't changed too much since then, so I know that he's quite powerful. I understand that the meta has shifted. However, I still think Kilmonger is a very, very strong champion. And probably is in the top 10 defenders in the game, which with Battlegrounds being a massive part of the game and a mode that everyone tends to enjoy, I do think defenders are quite important. He does have not many synergies, which is potentially a problem. But I would say if you can get him awakened, he does become very powerful. Even without awaken ability, he is still very useful, like I said, on defense and as an attacker. Yeah, okay, you wouldn't pick him over some of these other champs, but that's why he's in 10 and he's not at 5. So that is Kilmonger at 10. We will go over a few of the honorable mentions just quickly. We've got, as 7 stars, Korg, obviously an amazing defender. I do think that Kilmonger offers you more on attack than Korg does, which is why Kilmonger's at 10 and Korg's not. Masacre was very close to being my number 10. Very good hit into block damage. The SP2 can be massive and take some very, very nice fights. Again, probably the only reason Kilmonger's in there is because it is my list. I love Kilmonger. He probably just slips in there with a little bit of bias. Valkyrie, very good for the unstoppable counters. And finally, Hitmonkey, very powerful champion. Big crit numbers. Potentially could make it into the top 10. He's just a champ I've never really used. I was watching, I think, a Vega video last night. He was saying how like he'd never really used Hitmonkey, and then he used him and he was sort of amazed about how powerful he is. I do think Hitmonkey, if he was a 7-star, would definitely be in this list, but given that he's only just a 6-star, I do think he falls out. So in at 9, we've got Mantis. Mantis being one of the first 7 stars sort of made her stock go up quite a lot. She was by far the most powerful 7-star skill champion on launch, I would say. We've got a few more champions come out since, champions like Crossbones, ShangChi, Chalif, Mole Man, all those champions who are potentially a little bit better than she is. But from the rip, she was quite powerful. She did some big SB2 damage, and Karate Mike sort of pushed her stock up quite a lot by showing how powerful she can be. She was one of the first to have like Infuriate and Intimidate in her kit, so that made it quite interesting when fighting against AI. Those have sort of fell off, which is very frustrating, as in the AI just doesn't seem to be reading them as well as they previously did. Does have the cleanse, does have the tranquilize. Putting them to sleep is very, very cool, and an interesting mechanic, probably taken from the movies, which is very nice. But Mantis comes in at 9, probably that little bit better than Kilmonger. Does have the big damage, and I think, given that she has the sleep, you can build up her emotions, so she takes big damage, or does big damage. I think that is why she deserves to come in at 9. At 8, we've got a champion who is quite rare, but as a 7-star, everyone, some of you may remember, some of you may not. Mole Man used to be so powerful. I think he had a broken mechanic where his true accuracy was just always on. They never Kabam didn't really fix it for a year or two, so everyone ranked their Mole Man up. He was a very high ranked 6-star and 5-star. By far, probably the best skill champion in the game for when that bug was in the game. So everyone sort of used to using him. Shock Immunity is nice. Again, very similar to Killmonger, hit into the block. The Unstoppable is very, very frustrating. Big bleed damage and SP2 damage if he's into Monster Mass, or I think it's called Enrage. Very easy to use champion as well, just practically parry heavying to build up your monster masses. Then that turns into the let's look for the name so that we don't get it wrong. It turns into a Frenzy, so the Frenzy then does big damage. Really nice champion, easy to use. Shock Immunity is always nice. Again, I think his simplicity puts him above Mantis and Killmonger and Masakre as the sort of, let's say, 11th champ. Very easy to use, very nice champion, and a couple of nice synergies as well, especially being that he fits in the Spring of Sorrow Gauntlet at the minute with clarity, and being a 7-star does mean his stock has risen. In at 7, Bullseye. Probably top 3 defenders right now with Domino and maybe Onslaught, maybe not, maybe Photon. There's a couple. Bullseye's got to be one of them. Basically guaranteed hits all the time. Special attack being guaranteed hits is really, really cool. The one thing I do have with him not being any higher than 7 is I've just not used him. Still rare. Still not got my hands on him. Not really fought him much because I just constantly ban him, which sort of shows you how strong he is. If I'm constantly banning him and getting rid of him, it does show that he's worthwhile in Battlegrounds. He's also a good questing champ because of the bleeds and the big crits that he does put on. I do think that in nodes where you have to crit, Bullseye will be massive, and his stock will again rise. He'll continue to be quite a strong defender until they bring in more counters, champions like Mr. Sinister who regen off the crits, or champions who let's say they can't be crit. That might be coming very soon. You don't know, and that would be, ridiculous, but there needs to be counters for Bullseye brought into the game. There are a few, but not too many. I do think that is why he's so powerful. If you are a champion who's such a strong defender that they're trying to generate counters for you, shows that you should be high up in the list. And I think, as I said, with Kilmonger, very, very strong defender is Bullseye. Like Korg, although they're both great defenders, Bullseye just has that attacking prowess. Being a new champion as well, people struggle to play against him, is why he's just that little bit higher. So Bullseye comes in at 7. At 6, a champion I'd really, really enjoy using, and that's Crossbones. Never used him, always hated him. Then I watched Vega's video on Crossbones to see sort of how powerful he is, building up those Furies. Furies are needed in a lot of quests. So Crossbones would be massively effective for that. You don't get many champs with Furies on these days, so to have a champion like Crossbones who builds up so many would be Very nice to have. The Shrug is really good with this, putting him into overrun, again building up more Furies, then building up his damage. Quite easy to use, I'd say. I'd say it's not too complex. Maybe needs the Sig, but it's not super necessary. For the purifying. Just very strong champion. Been in the game for a long time. Not too much to say about him. The reduction of ability accuracy on his hits is also really nice, similar to sort of Falcon's Locked On. Not as strong, but or in the same sort of ballpark. Makes Crossbones very, very nice champion to have. Quite high utility, given that he can purify and reduce ability accuracy. So I think he's deserving of his 6th place. In 5th, this is a champion I've got. Only got her very recently. Started using her again, probably over the past sort of week. A few videos on how to play her. Very, very nice champion. Building up the bleeds, using your SP1 to keep the spirit charges up to 10 spirit charges. Your bleeds do even more damage. You occasionally get regeneration on you, which is really nice. You have just a constant unstoppable counter with those spirit charges up, which I think is very strong because it's not a debuff or a buff. It's a passive, so it just can't be shrugged. So you've basically always got that unstoppable counter in your locker. Very good for champions like Thing, with those constant bleeds. Good champion in long form content, as well as the sort of short form. You can take her in and be a defender, and she's quite strong because she gives bleed through blocks. She can be very strong in short fights because of the amount of bleeds that she's racking up. With a relic like Black Panther at 5 or 6 star, she'll be even better. The cleanse on her is very, very nice, and maybe not too many synergies, but the synergy with Hulk I have used quite a bit because I've now got Hulk. So Chilif is quite strong. Or Chilf, don't know. But it's probably Chilf, not Chilif. Chilf is a strong champion. I'm very glad I got her and was able to use her. I think she's deserving of a number 5 spot with the cleanse again, and being able to shrug off a lot of debuffs. Took her into some questing in Act 7 just because of the Karina's challenges. Very strong in that, just shrugging off all debuffs on her. The cleanse is very, very powerful, up there with sort of Kingpin's cleanse. So she's very nice, basically debuff immune, or can be, with that cleanse. So I think she's deserved of her number 5 spot. At 4 is a champion who I think should go higher. I know it's my list, but some people don't even have in their top 10, which I think is crazy. Is ShangChi. I mean, if I had a skill rank 3, he'd be the one who goes up. I think people sort of underrate him a bit, but I'm not too sure why. Like, you look back at my Onslaught fight, and I was able to take him with that, just through the build-up of chi charges and then that massive SP2 that he does. We've also got the slow, and the cleanse, so you've got 2 of the nicest things about the skill class: the cleanse, getting rid of debuffs, and the slow counter, which more and more champions are coming unstoppable, more and more unstoppable quest nodes, and evading, especially in, say, this Battlegrounds meta with the evade, the unblockable to counter auto block, and finally the stun just to refresh those chi charges. Also on the perfect time block and the perfect time dex, building up your chi charges that way to just go to sort of 14-15 charges with a rank 2 7-star. ShangChi ends up pulling out an SP2 of like 120, 150,000 damage, guaranteed yellow numbers. Very, very strong champion. Awakened becomes even stronger with that burst damage, but I do think a lot of people sort of sleep on him. Perhaps they don't use him as much anymore, but I do feel that ShangChi over these champions above him is just the utility that he has, given that you can sort of choose his cleanse. He has the slow on him as well, but he also has that massive damage. I like big yellow numbers, I won't lie, and I think ShangChi sort of plays into that. So being a 4th in this list is no shame, but I definitely think he could go above the champion in number 3, which is Kingpin. Kingpin for a long time was by far the strongest champion. Synergies he had were very, very strong, increasing his ability accuracy and attack rating with Daredevil. I just think now that he's slowly falling off as a 6-star, yeah, I think he does need to come out as a 7-star. I don't think he'll be broken or too powerful. He will be one of the best champs in the game, but at the minute, I don't think he is. You know, there's not many people with Kingpin anymore. You don't see him on defense because it's not that difficult to just keep him to his SP1. You don't see him on attack because, as I said, ShangChi, Chalif, Crossbones, Bullseye, Mole Man, all those champions as a 7-star potentially do more damage quicker in Battlegrounds. Okay, as questing goes on and Act 9 comes out, maybe Kingpin will come back and he'll be, be one of the top dogs. But for a minute, I think he is coming in at 3, but he is falling. He was at 1 last year, 3 this year, and probably if we did this in December, he might be down at 5 or 6. So Kingpin does come in at 3, still a great champion, still very strong sig ability. The Purify is very, very strong. However, I do think those other champions just named potentially will be stronger than him as 7-stars grow in power. Number 2, we're going for Nick Fury. Second Life, first of all, is a joke. The damage that he does is crazy. Ending with the light combo ender just massively increases your damage, to which we don't see that often. Lots of bleeds. Again, if you can get to critical bleed, he's so strong. Some really nice synergies, but even just on his own, you always see him in Battlegrounds as a 6-star. Always one of the first ascended. Great defender, very good attacker. I do need to ascend mine and continue to level him up because I can't imagine that he's coming as a 7-star. Just think he is probably a bit too powerful for that, given that he's got that second life. Yeah, okay, it goes down with time. It ticks down once he's got that second life, but it's still so powerful. You end up, you can end a fight quite quickly before you even lose that, and it just does give you basically 140% health for a fight over champions who, still being a strong champion. This is okay if it's on like Mantis, still a bit broken, but it's okay if it's on Mantis. It's okay if it's on weaker champions like Elsa Bloodstone or Falcon. But to be on a strong champion like Nick Fury anyway is quite amazing and is almost a surprise. So I don't think we'll see him as a 7-star. Nick Fury comes in at 2, very, very good champion. The amount you see him just shows why he should be high up on this list in Battlegrounds, and people will use him as in questing still. So yeah, at number 1 is obvious. It's, to me, maybe the second best champion in the entire game. Tricky to say. Yeah, maybe it's Kate Bishop. At Sig 200, the damage the cold snap does is like 4k before you've done anything. Increasing the dialed in passives to like 6, which I think is as big as it goes. 6 dialed in passives, so you're increasing the potency of your arrows by 90% on what it is when she's not sigged up. And to be fair, I used her unsigged for a very long time and she did so much damage. The pause of the trick arrows hitting into the buff. Okay, she has the well-timed release or the perfect release, but that gets easy the more you use her. The fact that Cold Snap isn't seen too much, so it also being a passive means it can't be shrugged. The tracking on the heavies. Caltrops, if they are Cold Snap immune, or Tranquilize if you want to fight champs who get lots of debuffs on you, so like Immortal Abomination. We've also got the Dissolver, so you can reduce their crit resistance to 0 with a perfect release, or a Sunder passive, which obviously then can't be shrugged either. Refreshing them with hits against the wall, how powerful she is in Battlegrounds, Necropolis, questing, long form, short form, medium duration fights. Kate Bishop is the best champion. As a defender, okay, maybe not great, but still quite usable. You put her on against somebody who doesn't fight her often and they will struggle. Very, very strong champion. Unbelievable. If you've not ranked her up and she's sat in as your 6-star, max her out, Sig 200 her, and just use her for a week, and then come back and say how you feel about her then. By far the best champion. I still use her all the time. She'll be making it into my Spring of Sorrow gauntlet, even though she doesn't fit any of the requirements. I'll just bring her in anyway because she's so fun. And does so much damage that why wouldn't I? So yeah, Kate Bishop comes in at 1. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please let me know what your list would be down below in the comments. Hopefully you've enjoyed. And leave a like and comment. Subscribe if you're new around here. And hopefully we'll have a lovely discussion in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.